Welcome to the Just Music podcast. I am your host, Jalen. And this guest that I have on the podcast, I'm really excited for this discussion because me and this guy, at, we met in person actually at his company's very first festival where he was performing. He was also the organizer of the festival, also just a really great guy. And I also work with him. So yeah, so we the way that we crossed paths was really cool, which we're definitely going to talk about. He is a musician, he is a DJ, he is a business owner, uh, based out here in Charleston, South Carolina. Mr. Bryan Mahanes, how are you, sir?
I am excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, sir.
Jalen, I'm excited to be on the podcast today. And I feel the same. Meeting you was auspicious. We kind of instantly made a connection and now we have a working relationship. And I'm excited to learn about, the podcast and be on the podcast and just, share any experiences I've had with all your viewers.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for coming on. This is really cool because uh, this is the first time I've interviewed someone that is pretty much checking off all the boxes that my co-host Marco and I really cover. Because Marco's a DJ and I'm a musician, and then together we're both business owners. And you're pretty much all three. So like that's really cool. So I was like, yeah, we can definitely have some good conversation. So this podcast that we put together next month, it'll make 4 years since we've launched this
Wow.
podcast, and we've been doing this, and it's been very fun. We've had so many guests come on the show, and we've interviewed them, have them tell their story and share any cool experiences, and also some valuable mindset that they want to leave for people. And
Sure.
it's been awesome. So just to get into it, so you and I, we've talked before. You told me a little bit about your story, but for the listeners, like, tell us a little bit about where you're from and your tenure in the music industry, and like how all of that has just got you to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm from South Carolina. I was born in Miami, but I moved here at a young age and from the upstate of South Carolina. And when I was in high school, I knew that there was some musical performance stuff going on, but I didn't really understand it. I competed in talent shows in school and stuff like that. I dabbled with the piano, but I didn't have a clear vision of uh, of my love for music at that time. When I went to the University of South Carolina, I was undeclared and I found out you could study guitar in college. So I was like, that sounds great to me. So I studied classical guitar and I started my journey with music at the University of South Carolina. Um, After 3 years of study, I realized that classical music really wasn't where my heart was. And I was also kind of searching for my own personal identity. So I decided to take a year off. And that was really crucial in my journey because it led me to find another school that was really helpful for me in my journey, my creative journey. So I moved to Boulder, Colorado, and I went to a college called Naropa, the Naropa Institute, and that's it's a contemplative arts college, and that really gave me a chance to really dig into all of my creativity. I ended up writing plays, and I wrote a half of a musical, and I formed my first band, and so on and so on. So that's kind of how it all began for me. When I came to Charleston, South Carolina, that's where things started to really solidify and make sense. So it definitely was a journey. It took me a long time to figure out how to connect with what I'm passionate about, um, and how to make it work and how to make a living out of it. So, that's just kind of the short answer of how I began and where I'm from. So I live in Charleston, South Carolina now. I've been here since 95-ish. So that's a long time, and really been working professionally as a musician since about 90 98, 99ish. That's kind of when I first began performing professionally.
Wow, that's awesome. And it's really cool how you said um you went to University of South Carolina for a little bit of time and you realized that, I mean, really ever since high school that you had a passion for music, but up until when you went to Colorado, it was kind of like crystallizing that dream. It's like, okay, I know that there's something here that I really enjoy music and I have a knack for it, but I want to know exactly like how do I do this? Like how does this make sense? And I can identify with that. In high school, I knew that I had a big love for music and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. But it wasn't until I got to College of Charleston that it started to make more sense, that it started to crystallize for me. And yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, just that journey, that creative journey. I'm just agreeing that, it's a process, and you got to kind of allow yourself the space and the time to figure it out. Because I think for a lot of people, in all types of industries, it's a similar situation and process. But yeah, I agree and relate 100%.
Absolutely. And so, how many instruments do you play? I know you play guitar. Are there any other instruments?
Yeah, yeah. Guitar is my primary instrument. So I studied classical guitar, which is, a nylon stringed guitar. It's very kind of specific, sound and the fretboard and all that stuff. Then I started playing just a regular steel string. I kind of consider those different instruments, even though they're not. I played also the 12 string guitar. Again, it's the same family, but it's so different in many ways. I dabbled with piano at a young age, still playing that not really professionally, but more as a passion and as a writing tool.
Mm,
The other main instrument that I have some skills is the sitar, which is an Indian instrument out of India. I studied Hindi classical music
mm,
during my time at the Naropa Institute. So that's a whole nother world of music that I dabbled in. I did study with a very talented teacher. I consider him a guru of mine, and I did study with him for a couple of years. When I moved back to South Carolina, it was hard to maintain those studies. So I don't perform professionally on the sitar, but I can. If you said, "Hey, can you play the sitar?" I can play you a song, and it would sound, authentic. So I know how to kind of live in that world musically. I'm a DJ as well, um, which is definitely an instrument. I've had conversations with musician friends of mine who state that that's not a musical instrument, but I prefer to disagree. So I consider that, a musical instrument. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I did sing for a long time when I finally realized that I wanted to write my own songs and perform. I was singing my own material. After a short bit of time, I kind of realized that I needed a lot of work on my vocals, and it wasn't really my passion.
mm.
I think to be a vocalist, to play any instrument and really succeed, you got to have that drive and that desire to perform and learn. And vocals just it just wasn't my thing. So I actually started hiring other vocalists to be the singers in the groups that I was playing and stuff like that.
Yeah. So talk. So you talked about your kind of like your love, your appreciation, and your knack for like different instruments, and a lot of it being string instruments. So like as far as styles of music that you either like to perform or that you either like to listen to the most, um, I guess what are some of those styles that you find yourself gravitating towards?
That is such a great question because it's so diverse.
Yeah.
It's so diverse. I can really enjoy listening to um, just instrumental guitar music or